I am going to read the book, Maybe God is Like That Too. Written by Jennifer Grant, illustrated by Benjamin Skipper. For Sadie and Senna with love. I live in the city, where the sidewalks and subway cars and buildings and buses are packed with people. But I never seen God before. That's him waking up, just got in the morning, and this is the city around him. Grandma, does God live in the city? I asked one morning at breakfast. Yes, God is here, she says. You just need to know where to look. Whenever you see love, joy, and peace, God is there, she says, stirring her tea. Wherever there's patience, kindness, and goodness, God is there too. When you see faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, that's God's Spirit at work. That's his grandma. That's her stirring the tea around. That's him asking. On the way to school, I'm on the lookout. I see a bus full of tourists and count 10 bright yellow taxis. I spy a man sweeping a stoop, and Grandma and I laugh when we see a tiny dog wearing a fluffy purple sweater. There's a fluffy little dog in the sweater. And that's them. Wait, I can't open it. That's them up above. Very tiny. At school, Grandma hands me my lunch and hugs me close before she says goodbye. That's what love looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. It's them hugging goodbye. And this is the library, I think, or school. Library or school, each one. Nope, that's school. On the swings, I pump so hard I see over the wall into the alley. My friends shout, "Higher, higher!" as my feet fly way up into the sky. That's what joy looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him going as high as possible. That's his friends way down low, saying go higher. Outside, car horns blast and sirens scream, but my classroom is quiet and calm. That's what peace looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's all his classmates. That's him. They're all being very quiet and reading a book. I tried to tie my shoes, but the laces tangle around my fingers. My teacher sits down beside me and shows me how to tie them. That's what patience looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him having a hard time looking to his teacher, and that's her tying her laces. On the way home, I see a doorman wearing a red cape and a hat with a shiny brim. He's holding the door for a man using a wheelchair. The man moves very slowly and the doorman chats with him and smiles. That's what kindness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's the man with the red cape and the hat, and then that's the guy in the wheelchair. While I'm setting the table for dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's our neighbor from downstairs, bringing us a loaf of bread. It's golden brown and warm and wrapped in a thin white towel. That's what goodness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him setting the table, and that's him with the white thin table cloth with the bread inside. At dinner, I work on my homework while Grandma stands at the kitchen sink washing dishes and humming to herself, just like she does every single night. That's what faithfulness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him working on his science project, and that's her in the kitchen sink. At bedtime, Grandma sits at the edge of my bed, singing me a lullaby and stroking my head. She tucks my blankets up close around me. That's what gentleness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him all cozy in bed. That's his grandma. That's why I wish I was in right now. I lie in bed watching the curtains flutter. I want to talk about that dog we saw today and how high I can swing. But Grandma says that once I'm tucked in, I have to stay in bed until morning. I close my eyes and try to fall asleep. That's what self-control looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. That's him slipping in bed. That's the window and the city out below. I think his room looks a little messy because you can see all the toys down there. I saw God over and over again today. Whenever I saw love, joy, and peace, and wherever there was patience, kindness, and goodness, when I saw faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, I saw God's Spirit at work. That's all the pictures of what happened today, and that's him sleeping in bed, dreaming about it. I don't see God the way I see my friends, or the streetlights, or the river, but I see signs of God's Spirit all around me, right here in the city. I know what God is like. Maybe I can be like that too. That's the whole city. Big old city. I hope you like this book just as much as I do and just as much as my family do. I hope you read it again soon.